Hello, sorry I haven't been uploading. I will try and upload more. Hope you enjoy this video. 5 famous people who disappeared. 1. D.B. Cooper. On Thanksgiving Eve, 1971, D.B. purchased a ticket under an alias, Dan Cooper, and then proceeded to skyjack Flight 305 of the Northwest Orient Airlines, which was bound for Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Right after the flight took off from on what only supposed to be a 30-minute flight, Cooper told a flight attendant that he had explosives in his possession and demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes in addition to a refueling truck for when they would land at the airport they were originally headed for. Authorities paid out the ransom and gave Cooper the parachutes. After refueling began, he then told the pilot and crew where he wanted the plane to take him, which was Mexico City. However, about 30 minutes into the flight, he jumped from the plane from 10,000 feet near Mount St. Helens in Washington state. Not only was he never found, but Cooper's real identity also remains a mystery, and it's not known whether he survived the jump. In July 2016, a 2-part special was aired on the History Channel about D.B. Cooper, where they named Robert Rackstraw as the man behind the mystery. Nonetheless, the FBI declared in the same month that they were no longer pursuing him. Rackstraw, a 72-year man living on a boat in San Diego Bay, claims he considered filing a defamation suit against the television channel, but it has never been filed. Whether or not he is D.B. Cooper remains a mystery. The only clue they got was a young boy discovered a small cache of ransom bills along the banks of the Columbia River in February 1980. The find triggered renewed interest but ultimately only deepened the mystery, and the great majority of the ransom remains unrecovered. 2. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart is probably the most famous missing person in history. As both a pilot and a passenger, her exploits into flying made her very well known. In addition to her aviation popularity, she was also a teacher, author, fashion designer, magazine editor, and cigarette spokesman. Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan decided to embark on a trip around the world in 1937. However, on July 2, Earhart sent out radio message asking for help. Apparently they were dangerously low on fuel over the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. Coast Guard sent help in the form of a cutter, the Itasca, but they were unable to locate the plane. The cutter proceeded to send up smoke signals, hoping the pair would see the smoke, but it was no use. The plane nor the two aboard were ever found. Earhart's husband funded a private search, but it failed to produce any results. In 1939, Earhart was declared dead in absentia. There have been numerous theories as to what happened, and the resulting searches become the most intensive and expensive in American history at the time. The most common belief is that her plane ran out of fuel and she had no choice but to ditch into the Pacific Ocean, subsequently sinking after the crash. Even after the intensive searches at the time, in 2012, researchers spent another $2.2 million trying to prove that Earhart had instead crashed on a tiny island. However, nothing was ever proven. 3. Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller was the best-selling recording artist from the late 1930s to the early 1940s, making him one of the most iconic big band leaders ever. Miller volunteered to join the U.S. Navy after the U.S. entered World War II, but he was turned down. He then tried to volunteer for the Army and, eventually, was accepted into the Air Force. On December 1944, Miller and 2 others were to fly to Paris, France in order to make arrangements for his band to play concerts for U.S. troops. However, his plane disappeared while flying somewhere over the English Channel. Neither Miller and the other 2 occupants nor the plane was ever found. Later, in an article by the Chicago Tribune, reported in 2014 that the most likely cause of their disappearance was due to a plane crash caused by a faulty carburetor. The carburetor in question was said to have been defective when used during cold weather and had a history of icing up and causing crashes, although it was proven to be definite. 4. Jean Spangler. Jean Spangler was an American model, dancer, and small-part actress in early television and Hollywood movies. Her career began in 1948, but she disappeared under the following year under mysterious circumstances. In fact, her case still remains open to this very day. Spangler left her home in Los Angeles on October 7, 1949 around 5 p.m., leaving her daughter with her sister-in-law. She claimed to have plans for meeting with her former husband concerning child support, which was late, and afterward would be heading to work on a movie which was doing a night shoot. She was last seen by a store clerk near her home. The clerk verified that Spangler appeared to be waiting on someone. She was never seen again. Her sister-in-law reported her missing the very next day, filing a report with the police. What's strange about this case is that her ex-husband had no plans for meeting her. His new wife stated they were together at the time and neither was there any movies filming that night, nor even had work in progress at the time. These would point towards her lying about where she was going. However, 2 days after her disappearance, her purse was found near a Griffith Park entrance with the straps torn loose as if someone had ripped it from her arm. Over 160 people, including 60 policemen, searched the area, but nothing else was found. The only clue to be found was in her purse, an unfinished note addressed to Kirk, saying she was going to Dr. Scott and that this was what was best while her mother was away. Her friends had stated to police that Spangler was pregnant and perhaps had sought to get an abortion, although they were illegal at the time. Other rumors reported her fleeing the country with Mickey Cohen, who was a known mobster. None of these were ever proven to be true and her case remains open and unsolved. 5. Dorothy Arnold. Dorothy Arnold was a Manhattan heiress and socialite who disappeared in New York City in December 1910. She was 25 years old at time. On the morning of December 12, Arnold communicated to her mother she was going to go shopping for a dress to wear to her sister's upcoming party. Her mother suggested she go with her, but Arnold declined her offer, saying she would call if she found an appropriate dress. She left her family home around 11 that morning. After doing a bit of shopping, she stopped to chat with a friend for a moment before excusing herself, saying she was to meet her mother for lunch. This was shortly before 2 in the afternoon and it was the last time anyone ever saw her. By dinner time, when she'd still not returned home, the family became worried. Arnold never missed family meals without reason. Her parents began calling her friends, but to no avail. Fearing unwanted media attention, the couple chose not to call the police concerning her disappearance until weeks later. However, they did contact their lawyer and family friend, John S. Keith, who hired detectives to look for Arnold. When they had no luck, Keith persuaded Arnold's father to call the police at last. They held a press conference, offering a reward for any information leading to her whereabouts. However, nothing became of it. After approximately 75 days of her missing, the police ended the investigation. One of the prevailing rumors was that Arnold died due to a botched abortion. In fact, when an illegal abortion clinic was raided by police in 1916, the doctor testified that Arnold had indeed died there from severe complications experienced after an abortion. Her father, however, adamantly denied these rumors, believing his daughter had been kidnapped and killed shortly after her disappearance. When he died in 1922, he left no provisions for his daughter, believing her to be dead, but his wife held out hope until her own death in 1928. After the death of Arnold's mother, Keith confessed that he thought she had actually committed suicide due to her failed writing career. Please let me know if you want more videos like this. Thank you for watching.